Well, the Elon Musk situation at X is getting weirder and weirder by the day. Now, Elon Musk is U-turning on what his team was saying about creator monetization, probably because it got a lot of backlash and a lot of scared text messages from venture capitalists investing in xAI. But now the information is reporting even more scary news about what's going on with X. We're going to talk about it. Now, first, I want to bring this up. Yesterday in my video, X canceling pay out of money, in the video, I talked about how xAI is using, apparently, according to Alex Spiro, which is Elon Musk's attorney, they're using PwC audits. And I talked in my video about how PwC audits are not PCAOB audits. PCAOB actually sanctions PwC because their audits are crap. Now, somebody, and I pinned the comment, somebody wrote here, as a CPA, I believe you when you say PwC audits are lacking in quality. Yup, they certainly know about disclosures, but audit procedures? Yikes. Somebody else goes, hiring PwC to do an audit is like taking out a loan on a BMW. It's all for looks. Oh, yikes. So this is why I made that clarification yesterday. I'm like, we actually use a PCAOB auditor for House Act, like IPO grade auditing, because it's like, no, we got to do a really great job here. So yesterday we were like, is X running out of money? And we were setting up like all this like sudden funding with SpaceX, and Elon's like, oh, those loans are fake news. And then it turns out he's taking out debt. People are like, which then sort of begged the question like, all right, well, maybe it's all fake news. Maybe they're not actually running out of money, right? And then Elon this morning is like, no, we're actually not out of money because we don't want to pay creators. We're actually underpaying creators. We should be paying creators more. And so Elon Musk is trying to puff up this idea that, no, we're not broke. We actually have lots of money, which, I mean, I hate to say it, but that's exactly what, Sam Bankman-Fried said. Like, we're not broke. We got lots of money. It's like, all right. So then it's like, all right, well, maybe it's all fake news. Maybe Elon isn't actually going broke with xAI. And then there's this report that came out, which maybe it's all FUD and fake news. We don't know, right? But then there's this report that comes out, xAI's unusual deal making to fund Elon Musk's Colossus 2. And this is really interesting because here you've got a story about what debts Elon's actually paying here. Are you ready for this? This is crazy. So first of all, xAI's funding arrangement now, where Elon Musk is bragging about wanting to buy 500,000 NVIDIA chips, apparently they can't actually afford to buy the NVIDIA chips per the information. Instead, they are going to utilize a special purpose vehicle put together by Valor Equity Partners. And Valor Equity Partners is going to help put together a $20 billion leasing vehicle so xAI can lease NVIDIA chips. But Valor Equity Partners, now this is a really interesting one. Okay, understand this. Valor Equity Partners, let's write this down so it's nice and clear. Valor Equity Partners. Okay. Valor Equity Partners. Organizing $20 billion lease deal to xAI, but they're also invested in xAI, and one of the operators at Valor is an exec at xAI. So you got like this sort of like circular bailout where it's like, oh yeah, Valor will set up a lease for xAI because xAI can't actually afford to buy all of the chips, and that'll help protect our investment. And yeah, we're insiders, so we kind of realize like how crappy the financial situation at xAI is. Now, why that's interesting is because of the terms of the actual leasing that are going on. So the terms of the actual leasing, kind of scary, as well as the debts. First of all, the debt package that xAI is raising has a 12.5% interest rate. That's insane. That's like worse than a personal loan or a BNPL loan. This is crazy. 12.5% interest rate. Then, listen to this. The special purpose vehicle is composed of $7.5 billion in equity anchored by Valor and $12.5 billion in debt. NVIDIA is contributing $2 billion. Fine, we know that. That's the $20 billion raise we talked about yesterday. But We thought that Elon was going to use the money to actually buy the chips. Turns out that's wrong. The special purpose vehicle will actually be renting the chips to xAI for several years, which will then have the option of purchasing the chips. So it's a lease option is what it actually is. Now, Valor is a venture capital firm, and they've had a lot of involvement with funding for Elon Musk. The chief investment officer at Valor sits on the board also at SpaceX. So you see the Valor guy sits on the board at SpaceX. The rumor is you've got other executives inside of xAI who are also VC bros that are connected with all this. That is a little less clear. That's a little looser, so it could be wrong. But this is interesting. The special purpose vehicle is only going to be paying for the chips, not any of the infrastructure. But using the special purpose vehicle saves xAI from having to put up the cash up front. So it basically reduces the cash outlay today, but potentially makes the chips much more expensive in the future should Elon want to eventually buy them. The problem is Elon's company is basically out of money to buy these 550,000 chips or million chips or whatever, because he keeps saying different things. So now Valor, being an investor in xAI, potentially puts the firm in an awkward position if xAI can't make its lease payments. Because if xAI can't make its lease payments, then Valor needs to collect on that default, but then it potentially makes xAI, the investment in xAI, look really bad. Now, what's fascinating to indicate the risk of this, because obviously everything could be fine if everything keeps going fine. The problem, though, is this. This is where people are wondering, like, we've already got a 12.5% interest rate, which is really expensive on some of the debt. But then listen to this. The deal also contains significantly more equity, almost 40% of the total, than a typical data center deal. So Meta, for example, raised $3 billion in equity and $26 billion in debt. 3 divided by 29 is 10.3% equity to debt. So if basically for every $1, they basically were able to take on like $9 of debt. That's crazy. But that's Meta, which people don't think is going to go bankrupt. So Meta, for every $1, they get 9 in debt. Musk, he has to put up $7.5 to get 12.5 in debt, which basically means for every buck you're putting up, you're not getting anywhere near as much. You're getting like $1.4, $1.5 out for every dollar you put up in debt. Not as ideal for Elon Musk, and that's because people say xAI is burning too much cash, which is why these rumors started circulating about X not being able to afford monetization, considering getting rid of the monetization program. And then, of course, Elon probably got blown up with a bunch of texts of people going, wait, are you guys out of money? Like, this sounds really bad. And then Elon, oh, no, we're actually underpaying creators. That's why there's talk about this. We actually want to pay them more. Now, what I wouldn't be surprised by is Elon Musk pulls something like, hey, we're going to pause payouts to creators while we come out with a better system. Meanwhile, they'll just never come out with a better system, maybe. But a lot of this doesn't sound good for xAI. And then, of course, this is the information. So maybe it's all wrong. Like, maybe it's all just like clickbait fugazi and it's all wrong. And maybe there are no financial problems at xAI. But when you factor in that Elon Musk has maybe not the best auditors at xAI, his family office is running the financials at xAI, you have complaints about the monetization program, which could be related to an affordability issue. The interest rate you're paying at xAI is 12.5%, which is nosebleed. And you're only able to take out debt when you put 40% down, when Meta's able to put 10% down. And that's from your friendly VC firm. Some would suggest that the financial problems at xAI may be substantially worse than we presume, which then makes you wonder, as a Tesla shareholder, should you be approving this deal to invest in xAI? Now, we were talking about this a little bit in the Meet Kevin community chat yesterday, because we have a new community forum here. And, we were talking about this idea about, what if Elon doesn't get the investment in xAI, is he going to potentially start dumping Tesla shares? These are the kind of conversations that we like to have in the Meet Kevin membership, you know, along with, for example, calling the top in MP Material. Knock on frickin' wood, that was great. We, on MP Material, we were looking at 100 as where MP Material would go. We ended up triple rejecting 100, and we're like, we's going down, boys. It's down over 15%, almost 16% right now. That was a call in the Meet Kevin membership. If you're not part of that yet, make sure you join over at meetkevin.com. You have lifetime access, and it could be tax deductible as well. But consider for a moment, all of these things together, they create some serious risk factors for xAI, but also Tesla. Because think about what you end up getting. So the Tesla proposal, Tesla shareholder vote proposal, let's go ahead and grab it. So here we go. Take a peek at this. Tesla shareholders will soon vote on whether to let the electric vehicle maker invest in xAI's startup. Now, keep in mind, usually, like any investor can buy Tesla. So by swiping up on Robinhood and buying Tesla stock, you could indirectly then get exposure to xAI. But xAI doesn't have the financial transparency that Tesla does. So you actually sort of blur that financial transparency that's required at xAI and potentially allows for more funding at xAI from retail investors by approving this. In the latest proxy statement, along with the 10-year pay package worth up to $1 trillion, there's a proposal from Stephen Hawk from Florida, a shareholder with a $2,000 stake in the company, saying, Tesla's integration of Grok into its vehicle demonstrates the tangible benefits of collaboration with xAI. Mind you, you could literally just plug in GPT or anything through Bluetooth, frankly. Like, this isn't that big of a deal, but whatever. Tesla's pivot towards AI-driven technology, including FSD, I mean, that was never a pivot. Tesla was always a proponent of FSD. Robotics, we'll see, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is his little statement, fine. And there is now a potential vote to allow shareholders to invest in xAI. If Tesla does end up investing in xAI, it would be the second of Musk's companies to do so. SpaceX already put $2 billion in, probably because they couldn't fully fund it, unfortunately, so had to sort of reach over to complete the funding round. But anyway, some Tesla shareholders have argued that xAI is a rival to Tesla. No, I don't think so. Hawk's proposal comes as Tesla grips with weakening EV sales. This is true. And Musk obviously wants more of a controlling stake in Tesla. Blah, blah, blah. But an investor noted that xAI could help Tesla reach its market cap goals because of excitement around xAI and Tesla together is going to move Tesla's valuation higher. Right. Excitement is going to make the value of the stock go up. Not earnings, not fundamentals, not performance metrics of xAI relative to relative to OpenAI, which outperforms Grok on a revenue basis by 20x, and Anthropic outperforms them by like 10 to 15x. None of that is actually going to matter. It's just excitement that matters. This seems bubbly, man. I don't know, man. I don't love that at all. I don't like it. You know, I'm tempted to vote solely against this xAI purchase because all it does is create a cloud of risk for Tesla that you're throwing good money after bad. We should be throwing good money. The billions of dollars that you're going to throw into xAI to go burn on NVIDIA leases, you should be throwing at making a cheaper model that you promised. And then when Reuters said, oh, the cheaper model was canceled, you said it was fake news. And then a few months later, we're all like, hey, yeah, no, the cheaper model's canceled. Come on, man. I don't know. I don't like it. Keep them separate, man. I don't like it at all.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.